Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of weeks, and I'm back now, and I have a special guest. So you gonna tell us who you are?
Hi, how y'all doing? How you doing? My name is Mingo, and I have a dating show on YouTube called Meet to Marry, and it's on my channel GMT Media. So we have a lot going on. I hope to get in depth with y'all and give y'all some good insight.
Mingo is also I looked him up, you guys. He does relationships, dating, and a content creator. he, so I have some questions for him, and we're gonna ask the questions and see what he can tell us.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm with it.
you ready,
I'm
Mingo?
ready.
All right. The first question I have is what first drew you to the world of dating and relationship coaching?
Being married, being a black married man in the United States, I think um, I see a lot of I see a lot of misunderstanding and disconnect between black men and black women, right? So it's been very important for me to kind of just be on that mission of how can we get together. I understand that we have to talk about it in a sense of, we have to get to the nitty gritty of it. What's our problem? Sometimes that might cause arguments in my space, but it's always comes with some form of a solution. So I've been always interested on trying to get us together, you
Yeah.
know. So that's been my thing.
Okay. So was there a personal experience that inspired you to start sharing your advice publicly?
A personal experience, I would say watching a few of my friends go through divorces, right? And I would realize that divorce, right? A lot of people with the word out there, and I'm watching frivolous divorces happen. People that were leaving each other because, okay, the sex is not good. Just things that's like, okay, could you work on that? Could you
Mhm.
talk about that? What is there a reason why you would break the covenant with God that you made in order to, just be alone, back on the market, and then trying to find someone else? You kind of go through that over and over again
Hmm.
cycle. So that's watching my friends go through all of that was my main reason to say, like, I need to talk. I need to fix the problem.
So how did you make the decision to combine your Black love and legacy relationship project with content creating?
So it was crazy. I was talking to my wife, and my wife and I was like, oh, I was like, I want to start a YouTube channel, but I'm not going to get liked. I was like, I know people are not going to like me because I'm going to be controversial,
Mhm.
because I'm going to say things that's going to make people upset, but I'm going to say it with a purpose. So, I just, one day I didn't understand the camera. I didn't have a microphone. I didn't have anything, but I said, let me start. And I literally picked up the microphone one day and just started talking. And, people was just like, I like what you got to say. And then the channel started growing from there.
So is that where Meet to Marry came in?
So Meet to Marry, I would say, came in about halfway through my first year of being on YouTube. And I had the idea, I'm so sorry, but I had the idea of the show itself. But with the idea came along with a lot of with the idea came around a lot of pitfalls, like how could I get it done? What could I do? But it came to me in a dream, actually. And then, I wrote down the dream when I woke up, and I said I have to make it happen by any means. And then little by little, I started meeting people that's like, I do photography, I do videography, I do audio engineering. So I was able to put a team together of 13 people that helped me get it started.
Okay. So how did you get your contestants?
So casting call. So at
Okay.
first I did a casting call, and we had quite a few people show out for that. And it was just about marketing it as good as I could on
Mhm.
like all types of different Eventbrite and all of those different websites. And people came out, signed up to be on the show for the first season, and we did actually in-person interviews. And while we did that, we incorporated that in the show as well.
Okay. So what's been your most challenging moment as a creator and your most proudest moment?
The challenging moment, I would say, is breaking down the family life balance,
Hmm.
because not only am I doing the show, I also have a full-time job. And at that job, I am a leader at the job. So I have a whole bunch of
Oh.
employees that I manage as well. And managing those employees, coming to, having to consistently record and learning how to edit and understanding business and learning how media works.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the biggest challenge because it caused a rift between my wife and I for a little bit. But it was something that we worked on, right? So that's been it. But the most exciting part of it all, I would say, is the connections that I make with people.
Okay.
Right.
So you learned some time management.
Yeah. I had to learn it. Listen, if you're gonna do something like this, you have to learn
time management.
You have
Mm-hmm.
to.
So how has modern dating evolved in the age of social media and the dating apps?
So modern dating. Dating is so. I remember I only get an idea of what dating is from other people,
Mm-hmm.
because I know since I've been married, I've been a married man, it's completely changed. So, what I'm hearing is that it's rough in them streets.
It definitely is.
Everybody's telling me like, yo, dating is no joke.
It's not.
So I just try to navigate it to where it's like, let's get back old school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just connect. Let's just talk. Let's just be together.
Yeah.
And I encourage people. I encourage men. Approach women. Approach. If a woman gives you a sign, approach her.
Approach women respectfully.
Respectful. Oh,
yes.
Always.
Please.
Always
respectfully.
Always
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have these dating apps and stuff like that. So we don't meet people like we used to meet when we were younger. You know what I'm saying? We used to go to different restaurant stores and stuff like that and meet people like that. Now they got these dating apps and stuff like it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. What are the biggest misconceptions people have about finding love today?
The biggest misconceptions people will have about finding love is that it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
And that marriage should not be a goal. When I think the stats prove itself to be different, right? When you start looking at what happens to kids that's raised in single mother households without a father involved, you have a lot of you tend to have a lot of the boys, right, that women complain about being raised to be these men because there's no men teaching them how to be men.
Yeah.
So I see that that one of our big issues is that. So, how can we bridge that gap? I ask myself every day, how can we get back together? How can we get married?
That's the big question, ain't it? Do you think dating has become harder or easier in the digital era?
In the digital era, I would say it's made it dating made it easier, right? Because like you could date somebody. Remember before social media, you dated who was in your town.
Yeah.
Right? You dated who was around in your general circle. Now you're dating. You can date someone.
Long distance.
Long distance anyway. Matter of fact, there's so much people dating long distance, they never even met the person they quote unquote are dating. So dating is easier. Finding marriage is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What are some of the subtle green flags people should look for on early dates? I don't know what green flags are. I know what red flags are.
So I get the green flag. So I would say a green flag people should look for when they're dating, right? Green would be a person that knows how to communicate well.
Okay.
Another green flag is a person that, depending on how they are with their family, right? I always tell ladies, right? Look for how he's a waiter, right? Look for how a man talks to the women in his life. Listen to a man, because most of what you would see in a man in the early stages, I feel like a lot of women tend to look past it for whatever reason because they're attracted to the guy, other than saying, okay, you know what, let me look at you for who you are and what I actually see and what I actually want, right? So I believe when you find with you, you want to look at those things as green flags. Of course, there's red flags too, but the green flags is so important.
Yeah. So, how do you know when it's time to walk away from someone, even if there's still chemistry?
To walk away from someone, even if there is still chemistry, when that person no longer is treating you like the person you deserve to be treated as. Do I believe now that's a gray area, right? That could sound so common, right? But if you want to break that down, you want to look at something like, okay, is he putting his hands on me? Leave. Um, is she not giving you the things you need to advance in life? As to the fellas? Leave. Right. But if the person now is just not going through a rough patch and there's something that you're trying to work on with them, but you see help them get through it, then don't leave. You might not be getting exactly everything you want at the moment, but if it's something you could actually work it out. You know what I'm saying? But then there comes that time where it's like, I tried and you are not changing. Everything that I'm giving you is a tool to change and you're not using that tool. Leave.
So, what about the ones that are not that affectionate, or I guess having seen the affection in their, say in their life, so they don't know how to communicate in that type of way?
So for the ones that aren't affectionate, I would say stay away from those people, right? Everybody's not meant to be married. Everybody's not going to be in a relationship. It is what it is, right? So just because you might like somebody doesn't mean you're supposed to be with them.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So if a person's not affectionate and they're not giving you the things that you need, that's because they've missed something earlier on in their lives. Now, where you are in life, you have to ask yourself, are you willing and trying to fix somebody? And that's the biggest question you have to ask. You don't want to have to deal with someone else's trauma and try to fix them as opposed to working on yourself and allowing them to work on themselves. And even if that's separate, it's just got to be separate.
Okay. What's your take on situationships? Are they healthy?
No. 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 So I'm not with situationships at all, y'all. I'm not with situationships.
What's your definition of situationships? Because people have several different definitions on it.
I think people like to blur lines, but they know what it is. Right? There's only one real definition, and it's hookup culture.
Yeah.
Right. So that's literally you just trying to hook up with as many people as you can. It's hookup culture. And there's no gray areas between that. So yeah,
it's not healthy.
No. No.
Okay, what are the top communication mistakes that sabotage relationships early on?
The top relationship mistakes, you said?
The top communication mistakes that sabotage relationships.
Okay. The top communication, I would say mistakes I would say not really watching a person and then that communication. I knew a lot about my wife when I first met her because I truly paid attention to her, right? And I listened to everything she said, like detailed. If you talk to my wife, I told her probably the second day I met her, I was like, you're going to be my wife. I don't know when, how. We've been together for 15 years now.
That's great. Right?
So there's always that part. You know what I'm saying? Where if you're not listening to somebody, because I think the majority of communication is you listening. You know what I'm saying? It's really not you talking. So if I want to get to know you, I'm going to listen to you. And that's going to be how I communicate with you. And it should be vice versa, right? My wife listens to everything I have sometimes.
So that's the biggest communication mistake is not listening.
Not listening, because half of the way you communicate with people is through your ears, right? It's truly listening to them. I could tell you whatever I want, and that's what I believe the biggest mishap is in relationships, right? We tend as people to think that it's all about what you say. No, to me, it's all about what I hear. It's all about what I observe. It's all about what I see. And that's how I make decisions with any relationship. with friendships, business, anything. Show me who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You communicated 90% of the way with how you move with me.
Yeah, and the consistency. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So, how can couples navigate different communication styles or love languages?
Navigate different communication styles or love languages. Well, I do believe in therapy, right? And when you go through therapy, it can help you find certain styles that you might not have known that you was there. Now, certain love languages, you know, you would want to navigate touch. You would want to navigate. What's all the love languages again? You know.
I know mine.
What's your love language?
I'd rather not talk about mine.
Yeah, but definitely.
Mine is communication and consistency. That's it.
Communication
and consistency. Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, so if you have to push that out there, then if you are you married?
No, I'm not married.
So all right. So if you do,
I'm in this crazy dating thing too.
So yeah, now we talking.
Yeah.
Now we talking. Maybe I can give you some help.
Yeah, I definitely needed this show right here. So the questions they asked, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get that one. Let me put that one on."
That's what's up.
So, what's your advice for setting healthy boundaries while dating?
Healthy boundaries. Okay. I would. Depends on your situation. You have kids. You don't want to introduce men to your kids off rip. But at some point you do have to, right? So set boundaries like that. Should a man be at your house? No, I do believe sex should be something that women take more serious. And I believe that's a boundary that a lot of women need to really start getting back to. Because here's the thing. My true belief is that men have never really changed. Right? Marriage rates dropped when sex became easy, right? So if you give out sex to men nothing, it's always inevitable in every society, then you have less. So that boundary right there is the biggest boundary I truly believe women need to start setting for themselves. Like no sex until some form of commitment. It has to be commitment. It can't just be, all right, you're telling me everything I like to hear, need to hear. This is great. I love you. And let's just, no, it has to be more.
You know what? That's it. I always say, and it's probably bad for my part, but I like to test drive my car before I buy it. Oh my God, it is terrible. I should not be saying that out loud, but for me, it's because you get lemons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if I spend my time admiring this car and I finally get to drive the car and the car don't start or the car won't warm up, you know what I'm saying, or the car won't drive. That's a
problem.
That's time in my life I can't get back.
So let me ask you, let's talk about that for a little bit. Let's talk about that. All right, so you test drive the car didn't start, cool, right? Now you test drive the car beforehand and it started, but where has that led a lot of women in the dating market today?
I'm still dating. See that,
there
right?
We go.
Yeah.
So you have to look at like first you have to find out what's the most important parts of dating for you, right? And if marriage is it, then sex should not be a priority. That should be a icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Right? Priority should always be the way a man treats you, the way he is with your family, the way he is with your children. You do have children. If you don't have children, well, do you want children with this man? And what kind of provider would he be? What kind of a protector would he be, right? Does he offer you those 4 Ps, Does he give you those things that's going to make you say, you know what, till my last day, that's going to be my husband.
Yeah.
Right? But if you prioritize sex, which I truly believe a lot of people do.
Yeah, I mean, that's for me. I do. You understand what I'm saying? I do. I'm gonna be honest. You can't really talk to other people. You can't be honest. For me, I do because I guess because of the bad experiences I've had, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I believe for me, it's a very large part of my relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
sorry.
It's in for me, it's a large part of how I communicate. You know what I'm saying? And like it's a big portion of
Of you and
yes.
pretty much.
You
So
know what I'm saying? So
why do you think that is?
I guess because that's part of the way I communicate.
You
You know,
communicate
through affection.
through
You know,
affection and
yeah. And if I don't feel safe with you, and if we can't communicate like that, you know, I mean, I guess it's who I am because I feel like after a long day, you can come home. You know what I'm saying? You need to take that day off. You know what I'm saying? You need
okay.
to work that day off, or you know, if that's the way we communicate, we both get home. You know, we miss each other.
Okay.
That's how we communicate. You know what I'm saying? That's how we say I miss you. And it's, I mean, we can verbally say it, but I don't. I guess I like to show
Physical is
it.
important.
Yeah.
So what about what about that being the main thing you do with somebody? It don't have to necessarily be your husband, right? But somebody that gave you some form of commitment, right? Now you come home, and the best way is intimacy. So intimacy doesn't have to be physical. And this is in the early dating phase.
Hmm.
It should be okay. I will cook you a meal. We can be this way, but I need something more from you
Yeah.
before I give you God's greatest gift
Yeah.
to you, the woman. To men, unfortunately, men of all races and all society don't value their penis at all, right? But women, it's more than just the nether region for you. It's your womb,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And the womb is the one thing that God gave women that's sacred. And a lot of men, I'm not speaking like I'm holier than thou. Like I'm not. I made
I mean, it
a
got to
lot
be
of
something to it.
mistakes.
You got 15 years of marriage in
Yeah,
it. You understand what I'm saying?
and it has not saying it's 15 years of perfection, right?
But
I'm
it's
never.
15 years
It's
of
15
commitment.
years of commitment,
Hmm.
and I knew I was going to commit to her very early on. She was 25 when I met her. You know what I'm saying? And that me giving that part of myself to her, me offering her marriage, and there's one thing she told me very early on. I said, let's get a bank account together. You know what she told me? I give you every part of me. And I wanted every part of her, even if it was a bank account, even if it was whatever. I feel as if women give too much away too early on.
Yeah, I mean, I do, but it's only the one person. I don't give it away to
Yeah,
everybody.
no, no, no,
You know what
no,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
no, no. We're not talking about.
But I do because my mom had four girls. She
Right,
raised four girls,
right.
and she taught us to cater to our men like they're kings. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
She showed us how to be wives. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So I I give what I want to be given back to me.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? So when I'm with someone 100%.
okay.
So I don't know. I don't know. To me, there's no middle ground. If we're dating, I'm dating for marriage. So I'm gonna treat you like how I will. You know what I'm saying? So you'll know what you're getting when you come with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
When you marry
right.
me. So for me, I think that's a downfall and a plus for me
Okay,
because if it's for the right man, you know what I'm saying, he's gonna know that if I get this right now, it's only gonna magnify
right,
when you know what I'm saying, when I marry this woman. So I mean that for me, I don't know how to do halfway with something. It's either I'm gonna give you my all, I'm not
all or
gonna give you
nothing.
anything.
And that's, I would say it is a plus and a minus because I do believe a woman needs to show men that you are a wife, right?
Mm,
The other side to it is it could be a downfall because some men get too much from
yeah,
women, and it's like why buy the cow if I got all the milk in front of me,
yeah,
right?
hmm,
So that's something that a lot of women figure out how to balance,
yeah,
and it is a balancing game. Depending on your desired results, it's not hard because men are not that complicated. Once you get a man that's into you,
hmm,
he's into you, right? It's just really up to you to keep that man, just like it's up to him to hold on to you, right?
hmm,
And show you husbandly traits early on in order for you to now want to show him that feminine side, that soft side,
hmm.
that loving side. So yeah, it's the balance. And I'm not saying, I know I sound old telling women don't have sex, but listen, in sex, right? It's about not giving a man everything.
Hmm.
That's the biggest part. So Where's that balance? I'm guessing for every relationship is different. Every relationship has its own, tipping scales to it. Everybody needs to find that. And I
Yeah.
believe women more than men, because men, like they said, there's an old saying, women women find their baby daddies, men find their wives.
I never heard that saying. I've never heard that one. I don't know where that one came from, but I've never heard that one. It's a good saying though. My next question is, how can people avoid falling into toxic patterns from past relationships?
By learning.
Yeah.
That's a simple. You gotta learn from your mistakes. So you toxic patterns usually fall into you not taking time to figure out what you need to heal from. So if you go into it and you're just jumping in and out of relationships, what did you learn?
Yeah.
And every situation that you're in, it should be something that you learn from it. I don't care how bad it ended. It should be something you got. And if you could actually walk away and say you ain't learned nothing, you the problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. Patterns are repeated by people that don't want to grow.
Yeah.
Right? And the moment you break that pattern is because you're finding out what's wrong with you. I think what we do is when a lot of relationships end, we try to find ways to say, well, because of you, we broke up. Because of what you did, we broke up. No matter how toxic a relationship is, it's always two sides to it.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah. And even if there's never a person that's just sitting there being the nicest, smoothest, coolest person ever that didn't cause no problems, and this person was just the devil. No, something you was doing that may have caused the devil to come out of people, and men and women alike. And when we learn from those things how to fix ourselves, we can fix our future patterns.
So what if what you learn becomes a red flag that's constantly being drawn to you?
The only way you attract red flags to you is by being a walking red flag.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
You have to be the red flag in order to attract more of the same, right? I believe in the law of attraction. Yes, I believe in God, but I do believe in the law of attraction. And I believe we attract who we are in life.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And the only reason why I made it to certain places in my life is because of how I think. And the way I think attracts the right people. Okay. So if you are a negative person, you tend to attract negative people. If you're a positive person, you tend to attract positive people. And so goes on. When you have a positive outlook on relationships and marriage, you tend to attract people that's positive and have positive outlooks on relationships and marriage. And then those people get married and else stay single.
I'm asking questions about that after we get off here. So my next question is, why is self-awareness so in a relationship?
Self-awareness.
Yes.
So you have to know who you are, because how would you know? If you don't know who you know where you would end up, right? I know who I am, so I set a goal, right? Every day I wake up, there's a goal to how the beginning of my day is going to look, to how the end of the day is going to look. And then I have expectations for hurdles. Should be the same way when you're dating. You got to know who you are. And that expectations for how the end of the date or the dating experience is going to look like, meaning, okay, I plan on being a wife in a matter of 2 years. How am I going to get there? Now I'm setting expectations, boundaries, and if there's hurdles, I'm going to have to learn how to hop over those hurdles, but I at least well thought it out before it even happened.
Let me tell you my opinion. I stopped doing that because I started disappointing myself. You know, like set goals. Like I used to do the vision boards and all that other stuff. You know, when you young, you like, I'm gonna get married by the time I'm 30. You know, I'm gonna have a house, this, and that. Then you 35 and you don't have nothing you said you was gonna have because life started life.
Right.
So I mean, I try to do that. Oh, God, I try to do that, but I I guess I started settling for what life brings me.
Mm.
And then my mom used to say, every time you make a plan, God laughs at your plan.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to navigate through something I planned.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I just started letting life
You let it kind of
yeah, go
I,
with the flow type thing.
I don't, and I get it. Really though, I me as just the person that I am, I never recommend. I think life just naturally happens, right? And that's why I say you expect the hurdles, right? Hurdles are gonna happen, but the goal should still be the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And when you don't have a goal, how can you reach anything? Like, how can you set a mark and say marriage is the goal, but I want to be married, but I don't have a plan on getting there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the best thing you could say in that instance is you just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't plan.
Yeah.
Right. Life is always going to happen for all of us. I mean, we're going to lose people, right? We're going to breakups are going to be hard. A breakup you didn't even expect. I really like this person, but this person left. What do I do with that?
Yeah.
Right? What do you do with it? You learn from it.
Yeah.
So that's the part that that's the part that's growth, right? So then now you don't get bitter from it. You take it and you pick the best parts of it that you learn from yourself and you bring that to the next relationship. You don't, but so many of us get bitter about life and we allow that to break us down.
Yeah.
Right?
We start building walls.
We start building walls, resentment. We start to feel a hatred towards the opposite sex. When there's not so many good women out there, and I tell this to the fellas all the time. So many good men out there, and I tell that to the women all the time. The point is, who are you attracting? You have to look at like, okay, what in me am I not doing right now to attract the right person to build a future with? That's the questions you ask yourself. Relationships is more about you than it is about other people.
Yeah. So, how do attachment styles play into modern dating dynamics?
Attachment styles. Modern day dating dynamics. So, I would say, there's limits. You don't want to completely, if you're talking about attaching, meaning like you're attaching to somebody and you don't want to let them go and all of that. That's cool, but you gotta have breathing room, right? Yeah. Even in marriage, like there's times when my wife be like, yo, listen, I'm going, I'll see you later. I love you. Goodbye. I'll be back. Right. And she'll go, even like her birthday last year, she spent it in a hotel by herself. Right. Cool. I did a massage this year. I didn't want to be around nobody. It was my birthday. I'm by myself. Right. You got to allow people to go. You can't be so attached to people. Right. In any dating style, because when you do, you're going to push people away, especially early on.
I've seen that on a lot of TikToks and a lot of, people that I know, that's why I try to tell them, have your own stuff you got going on, have your own life. And it helps you because at the end of the day, when you do see your person, you miss them. But if you're constantly calling, what are you doing? Why you ain't here at this time? Why you ain't here at that time? And clocking their movements, it's an annoyance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then when you do see him, you upset because he didn't answer when you called, and he's upset because you constantly called him. Right. That's how, I have your own stuff going on.
Right. And the thing is, like, no one knows really how to be in relationships today. It should not be this difficult.
It's not. Oh God, I said that. Said that. It should be fun
it should be fun. It should be like I look forward to seeing you, and but we're getting it twisted. Put it like this. If a person does not want to spend time with you, and this is my camera right here. Right?
Yes, that's your camera.
If a person does not want to spend time with you, then that means that person doesn't really like you.
Okay.
So if you feel like you're pushing too much to be around a guy, ladies, that's not the guy for you, right? Vice versa as well with men, right? We should not have to overextend ourselves to be in love. Love comes naturally.
Yeah.
And it flows. And when you meet a person, and I don't believe in such thing as the right person, right? I don't believe in it. I believe it's the people that you make it work with. So when you find a person that is meant to make it work for you and with you, it'll just naturally feel right. And sometimes it might not be that one person. It might last for a good amount of time and then that's it. But it might be another person. Don't get bitter. Learn from it. Move on to the next person.
So how can someone tell if they're emotionally unavailable or if the person that they're dating is?
You could always see signs are always there. When a person doesn't make time for you, he don't like you. If a person answers the phone, he don't like you. If a person rather text you more than talk to you, he or she don't like you. There's all these clear signs that people avoid because the things that we talked about. Sex is good. Maybe the food is good. She could cook. I don't care how she moves. She could cook. This is so good. Like these frivolous things that don't matter for relationships, right? Like you really look at it. At the end of the day, when you are laying in that bed and by yourself, we're talking about when it's time for you to go on to the path and meet your maker, what mattered, right? That's what we have to start paying attention and focusing on. The bigger things that matter.
Yeah.
If a person's not giving you the basic is communication, then that person doesn't like you.
What role does healing play in attracting the right partner?
What role is healing? So healing is huge. Like healing is 90% of any battle, right? I mean, if a warrior were to go out on the field today and he got injured, right? But he still wants to remain to be that good, that warrior for his country, right? He'll have to heal before he decides to get back on the battlefield. Problem is y'all ain't healing. Y'all just going to war with all types of wounds, shots, and head wounds and bandages and all that. And y'all want to just get back out there and fight. Chill. Take the time and learn from it. That's how you grow.
So how can someone balance independence with intimacy?
Stop being so independent. We're talking about ladies now. Ladies, stop being so damn independent. You know what I'm saying? Your independence ain't gonna get you nowhere. Men, strong. Ladies, you want a protector, you want a provider, you want all the good stuff in a man. Your independence means absolutely nothing, right? Because a protector is not going to care about you being strong and independent. Does he want you to have something? Yes, right? He wants you to have something. He wants you to be somebody that can add to what he has going on. To be that strong, independent woman, nah. Men don't really talk like that, right? So I don't think the men are supposed to kind of be more independent to, end up having a dependent, which will be wife and children. So it makes more sense for men to be stronger and independent. But yeah, no.
So you don't like independent women? I mean, explain the boundary of it, because I'm from up north, So I we were raised on survival, from north, we were raised on survival. So, I have a good friend, and she gets at me all the time about it, because she used to tell me to come out of my no limit phase.
No limit soldier phase?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. I love her because she's always honest with me, and then, I just feel like I'm not independent to the point where I can't, I won't submit. I'm just independent to the point where if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it for myself. You understand what I'm saying? But that's from the way I was raised and where I came from.
Do you think that might show up in the relationship though?
It shows up terrible in the relationship because I don't have patience. Because if I got to ask you twice for something, I feel like I'm begging. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I ask you for it and you know I need it, if you're paying attention to me, you see, you know what I'm saying? Why do I have to keep asking you for it? By this time, I'm impatient with it, because if I ask you for it, I need it right then. You know what I'm saying? Or I need it at that moment, or sometime at that moment. But if you give me 2, 3, 4 days down the line and then you don't say nothing about it, I feel like I'm not gonna ask you again. I'm gonna figure out how to get it on my own.
Right.
And it's, I mean, to some minutes probably is insulting. But if I ask you for it, why do I have to keep asking you for it?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
But it depends on what you're asking for. Now, if it's money, is it something monetary? Then yeah, I mean, technically, the independence should go where if you're on your own and you're not in a full-on relationship, then yeah, be independent, right? The moment you're in a relationship, that goes. Here's the thing. It's not about being independent. The majority of the times, people lack the understanding of you're just being an adult. Supposed to be paying your bills.
Yeah.
Supposed to be buying your own food.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be paying your car note. You're supposed to be. These are the things that adults do.
Yeah.
Right. The independent part comes with more of an attitude. And that's what we're talking about. Right. So it's one thing where, like, my wife, I made my wife a stay-at-home wife years ago. Right. She stayed at home. She was doing her thing for the longest. But it came more with her not asking me for things and me wanting to provide for her. And that's the thing that I think women have to do. You have to create a space to make men want to feel like he wants to do it for you, not asking him for anything. So that's why I say a lot of it depends on what you're asking for. Now, the independent woman is attracted because of the attitude that comes with it, right? Because of that, I do it by myself. Yeah. I got this. All right, well, cool. Do it. I'm good over here. You just send me some coins. Like, even if you ask me for it and I'm like, hold on, I can't do it right now. And you're like, well, forget you. All right, cool. So it's more of the attitude, more than, more than just the woman. We understand, especially our race of women, right? Who y'all wasn't fed with a silver spoon, right? None of us was.
So we
black
had to
men and black women struggle. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of unrealistic expectations come to men because they forget that we struggle together, and it's always been that way, right? We understood that in the 1940s and the 1950s. I'm not trying to get all historical on y'all, but in the 1940s and the 1950s, we really understood that. That's why our marriage rates were so high. This independent stuff is less than 100 years old, right? Where our women was just like, I'm good. The music told you to be that way. Even the men in the music told you to be that way. Neo, Miss Independent, all this other stuff told you to be that way. But it did more harm than good. Yeah. Because we as a collective need each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I understand. You broke it down because, some people might have a misconception on the independence of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You definitely answered that question. You got to be grown, but, in some form of it, don't make them feel less than a man.
Right.
That's basically it, right?
Hindsight.
Okay. So how do you decide what topics or advice to share with your audience? We got some creative side of questions now.
Some creative side. So my topics usually come about what's happening in the world. Of course, when you do social media, you want to stay trending, right? So if, let's say, somebody says something crazy on the internet, that's something to review. So usually my topics go about what's happening more or less, and we'll come up with it. And I usually gear it around getting in relationships. I've done panels where we had a panel of up to like 10 people, and we're all debating relationships. And we're all talking, and it gets spicy. Everybody yelling, and I have to calm everybody down as a mediator. So we really just find trending topics to go over.
So what's been your most viral piece of content, and why do you think it resonated?
So I would say my most valuable piece of content is Meet to Marry, right? So it was a show. Because people are finding that this is regular people looking for love. Yeah. When I film the show, I film it way more along the lines of people. No one's actors. I don't even pay people, and I do that on purpose. If you're looking for clout of it, fine. but I'm not going to pay you. Because I believe when you pay people, people get into the acting role
Yeah.
of it, right?
When
But
this
when
is
you
actual real stuff.
Right, but when you don't pay, you get the real. Like
Mhm.
there's real raw emotion. I am really looking for love.
Mhm.
I'm really trying to find someone. Will the few people slip in there that's looking for clout? Yes, but the majority of them, they're looking for someone. They might not find them on my show, but they're looking for someone.
But they took the chance
They
to
took
come
the
out and
chance.
see. Mhm.
Right.
So, how do you handle criticism or people who disagree with your advice online?
So I used to be that guy that be in the comment section, F you. But I learned that, listen, I cannot ask 100% of the people to like me,
Mhm.
right? I think that's even unfair to ask. As long as I could get the people that really want to hear me to listen, that's all that matters. So if somebody's watching me today and they really care about what I have to say, you matter to me.
Mhm.
And if you don't like what I have to say, okay.
Mhm.
Criticism, I take criticism as a way of growth as well. You can criticize what I say and what I do, and if you have valid points, I'll listen. I'm not gonna attack you because you critiqued my work when there could be value in your critique,
Mhm.
right? So, but then of course, when you start disrespecting
Yeah.
the work, that's a different problem.
Do you think social media helps or hurts people's real life relationships?
Social media actually, so as far as relationships, it actually hurts it.
Mhm.
I truly believe that social media has been it's a ways to meet people, but I think people are taking advantage of it, and I think it's creating an unrealistic expectation of
Yeah.
dating, and it's creating a unrealistic expectation of how you're supposed to show up in a relationship,
Mhm.
right? It's making men feel as if if I'm not driving in a Lamborghini, I'm not a man, right? Because I saw all these women, going after the ball player. Social media is showing women cheating with the ball player. Same
Mhm.
thing, vice versa for the women to the men, right? I can't date this man if I don't look like this, or if I'm not in this certain shape, or if I don't
Mhm.
have a certain length of hair or whatever. So it's creating this fake world of a bunch of people that are not living on their means. It's causing depression. It's causing people to be broke.
Yeah.
It's causing people
Definitely.
right, because everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses.
Yes.
And that's what's happening in the dating market today.
Yes. So, how do you maintain your own boundaries while being open online?
I share what I want to share. What I realize is I can't share everything. I remember like I was doing a show with my wife, and we had this show called Grown Women Talking, where it was me and a panel full of women. So it was me debating 6 to 7 women. I got heckled.
That was brave.
That was strong. I was strong for doing that. But I would always tell my wife, because my wife sometimes she'll overshare a little bit. And I'll be like, yo, babe. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring it back a little bit. Because I'm creating a reputation. Those that don't know, my goal is to be one of the biggest media people
Mhm.
alive. And I have a clear vision on how I'm gonna get there, right? And of course, everything that I do online matters, right?
Mhm.
My online presence is that's my backbone.
Mhm.
And without an online presence, I'm nothing. So yeah, I'm big. I'm big on giving you what you need,
Mhm.
not what you.
Yeah. So we have some advice questions.
Oh yeah.
So what are your top 3 pieces of advice for someone who's dating in 2025?
My advice would be to ask questions, right? Listen, right?
Mhm.
Do more listening than talking, and actually observe, like pay attention.
Mhm.
But what do they say? Like 80% of communication is nonverbal,
Yes.
right? You want to pay close attention to the people that you're talking to, that you're trying to vet and be in a relationship with.
Mhm.
So my advice, my top 3 would be those, right? But the biggest one would be observe. Pay attention. Listen. You know what I'm saying? You'll get everything you need out of that.
So, what are some red flags that often go unnoticed early in a relationship?
Red flags that go unnoticed. I see what people don't pay attention to. Um, they don't pay attention to how people treat other people. So they think that you're the exclusion. You're not going to be. You talk to that person crazy, but you're not going to talk to me like that, right? Because you love me. No. When I'm mad at you, I was the same way I just yelled at that person, I'm going to give it to you too. So that's what people miss. They think that they're some type of anomaly as opposed to reality. You're just, to most people, you're just another person.
So how can someone rebuild trust after it's been broken?
That's a lot of communication, a lot of therapy, a lot of talking, a lot of sitting down and getting back to the basics. Who are we and why are we together? And what did we start and why did we start? And was there a goal when we started? I think when you do that, you can rebuild. If you have no goal, like we were talking about earlier, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Right? So there always has to be a goal in everything you're doing. I say relationships is supposed to be some form of a business, right? And if you look at like relationships, like I'm in it for love, you're doomed. It's doomed from the start because love is a feeling. And not every moment that I'm with my wife, I feel so infatuated with love, right? It's just not realistic when you've been with somebody for so long. But when you have a duty, right? My duty is to God, right? So for me, I have to believe in a higher power in order to function. And that God, when I made a promise to you that I was going to protect this woman till I die. Whatever happens, I have to work on it.
That's a lot. That's a lot right there. Especially the whole, if you're looking for love, you don't look at it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit on that one. What's the biggest mistake people make after a breakup?
The biggest mistake I would say people make after a breakup is just hopping on one, jump to the next. You know what I'm saying? You jump off, you jump on.
Yeah.
You jump off, you jump on. I think that's the biggest problem is not taking the time
to heal.
You have to take that time. You have to find yourself. Every time, like we said, we talked about the battle wounds, right? And if you're not taking that time to truly heal and find out why you even lost the battle to begin with, because a relationship is a death when you lose it, right? And it's especially if it's marriage. So a lot of these relationships, you see people jumping out and having divorce parties and all types of craziness. Like, no, you lost the battle. You lost what you started. So how do you, and then now all of a sudden you want to celebrate it and go now start looking for somebody else immediately. You didn't take that time, mama. You ain't healing from that. So here you are with these battle wounds, and guess what? Sharks smell
blood in the water. Exactly.
So all you're going to do is get hurt time after time until you start building some crazy resentment towards men because you didn't heal.
What's one dating rule you wish everyone would break? Wait, let me say it again. What's one dating rule you wish everyone... What's one dating rule you wish everyone would break and one they should always keep?
One relationship rule that everyone should break. That's a hard one because I'm like, what could you, if it's a rule set between you and your spouse, the only rule I would say, I don't think anybody should, don't bring third parties in your marriage.
Oh God, that's yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like people that you feel like, yo, I'm tired of my spouse or tired of the sex is whack. I want to spice it up, and you start introducing other people, and there's a lot of people that do that.
And I think that's what social media also, because when you put your whole life on social media, people gonna have comments on it. And then some people take them comments and advice. And you know what I'm saying? And implement that into their relationship. And that's where the whole thing messes up also.
sharing things with your mama and your daddy. The problem. Listen,
Yeah.
when you in a relationship, you and your wife figure that out. Get therapy and have a somebody that doesn't know both of y'all sitting there between y'all talking to you. But when you are overly sharing your stuff, like you said on social, when you're sharing your stuff on when you're just giving out too much info on you, that's the problem. That's the problem.
So what's some relationship rules, dating rules that you think people should keep?
Keep your relationship sacred. You know, keep your relationship between you and your family, meaning your wife and your kids. That should be the biggest rule that everyone holds near and dear to their hearts. You know what I'm saying? Because your mama and daddy relationship is you and your wife's relationship. And that's something a lot of people got to realize. It's two different things, two different relationships. You know, my mom and dad, their relationship, rocky. Me and my wife have rocky moments, but we fix it because we want to be different, right? And we learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, and the values from their time and your time are different also.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true.
So what's one most underrated relationship tip that you have?
Underrated relationship tip? Ooh, I would say, practice abstinence before. That's underrated.
You gonna keep pushing that one, ain't you?
Keep pushing that one, because I feel like it's just hurting us, like it's not doing us any good. But look, a dating pattern that we've had as a people for so long has created I look at percentages, right? 50% of marriages end in divorce. In the Black community, it's even worse when you start breaking it down to just us. We're only 17% of America. But in that 17%, most of us are not together. Most women that have children are by themselves. Right? What does this cause it? What culture has it created? Right? It's created a culture that's further from God. It's created a culture that's further from the rules that was laid out for us to actually be successful in a relationship. We have more of a I do what I want and not what I'm supposed to do. So what has it done? But good. So look at the results. 50 years it started. Look, today you're living the results. What's the best parts of what happened? What really if we really try to break it down, what good has happened out of doing whatever we want to do with no rules?
Man, we just made ourselves more distant, more just more distant.
Right. And your audiences broke down these questions in order for me to answer them because they obviously want a relationship. So if that's the end goal is a relationship, then why not line yourself up to be in a proper relationship by following the rules again, right? The rules was laid out before. And our great-great-grandmothers and grandfathers knew it. Whether granddaddy had 5 kids somewhere else or whatever, didn't matter, right?
He took care of home, though.
He took care of home. And most women don't want to hear that. But guess what? That wasn't the majority of relationships like people like to portray. Oh, every granddaddy did that. No, it wasn't. There's good men. There's good men that died for their families in war and everything. If we got back to that,
the old school values,
right, we'll be more together. We would have the highest marriage rate in this country because Black people really do love each other. But we're growing further and further away from it. The more lawless we become.
What's the best advice you've ever received about love?
The best advice, I would say that came from, honestly, that came from church, right? And it came from me hearing how I'm supposed to be as a husband. It was more about me than it was about her, right? It was more about the man that you're supposed to be in life. And I think that allowed me to love my wife as Christ loved the church. And like I said, I'm not an overly religious guy, but it allowed me to love my wife as Christ loved the church. And when you get to that point where you understand that balance, I think any man could win in a marriage. You know what I'm saying? You could win almost. You could pick a wife and be with her for the rest of your life if you truly understand what that saying meant,
Mm.
right? So the way Christ loved the church, he died for it. So if you love your wife, die for her. And that's been a civic duty of men since the beginning of time. You die for your women, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be a literal death, right? It could be your old ways dead,
Yeah.
right? So the way you talk to people, dead. The way you communicate when you come home, dead. All of that stuff, and you come up, you basically rise from the ashes and become a new person
For that woman.
for that woman that you love. So that was the best advice I got.
Mm. Okay. So I have a question.
Yeah.
How long did you date your wife before you guys got married?
So we've been married going on 10 years. We've been together for 15, but it was off and on. It wasn't perfect, right? So we had some off and on moments, and when we really said, "Yeah, we gonna date seriously, lock in marriage," it was about 2 years.
Okay.
And then, but most of the 2 years was, okay, I'm engaged to you. Here goes the wedding ring. Let's figure out the marriage. Most of that hard locking 2 years was that. But we was dating off and on and all that. But it was more on than off.
Okay.
For pretty much, it's 15 years now. We're going on 10 years married. So roughly 5 years, you could say, off and on.
So what's something that your followers would be surprised to learn about your own dating experience?
My followers will be surprised. They'll know that it's gonna be hard to say this because my wife, she knows me, but I'm very much of a dominant male figure in my household. Right?
Okay.
And she said something to me yesterday that was crazy. My son was playing with me and he tickled me under my arms and I started laughing. And he was like, "Oh wow, Daddy laughed." And I'm like, "What? I always laugh." And he's like, and both of them was like, "You don't laugh." I'm like, "What you mean? Like all I do is talk crap and laugh." They're like, "Nah, you don't." And I think when I'm around them, I think my audience will be surprised to know that I guess I have more of a masculine exterior. When I'm outside, I'm always watching over them. It's crazy. Like I don't think my eyes those because I have to protect them. So my eyes is always watching everybody around them to make sure. So it's kind of like that instinct that kicks in every time I'm around them. So maybe that'll be a surprise. I'm like, damn, you ain't. I thought you was just this fun, go-loving, happy-go person. Which I am. I have fun with my wife, but I guess she said I don't laugh that much.
So before we get out of here, I want you to let everyone know where they can find your projects at.
Okay. All right. So to find my work, you could look on YouTube, type in GMT Media. You can actually just type in Meet to Marry like you see it on my shirt here, and everything will pop up. On YouTube, that's YouTube, Instagram, Meet to Marry. You can start typing Meet to Marry 1, and that will pop up. And same thing for TikTok, Meet to Marry as well. You can just find me on all of those platforms, Threads, Meet to Marry, everything.
So GMT stands for
Grown Men Talking.
Grown Men Talking. Okay.
Yeah, so that was my original show, and then I broke it down and I started the actual business of it with GMT Media.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I want to thank everybody for watching. I also want to let you guys know that we have Poetry in Motion tomorrow night. At 7, doors open at 7:00. We'll be at the Heist Brewery on Woodward Avenue. So you guys come out and hear some poetry. Those of you who are loyal to the Poetry in Motion movement, this is our season 2 of it. So you come on out and see what we got going on this time. And thank you so much for coming out. You can come on out to Heist also. Bring your wife out, make a date night. It's a beautiful atmosphere.
We'll be there.
Okay. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for explaining. Thank you for talking. I really did appreciate this night. And enjoyed the talk.
I enjoyed it myself. Thank you for having
All
me.
right. To everyone else out there, thank you and stay connected.
Peace.
Yo, what's poppin'? It's Sam Pose. Welcome to season 2 of the Video Mixtape Show, exclusively on the Connected TV, where we're featuring some of the hottest indie and mainstream videos. We're in 80 million homes. Remember, 80 million homes on Amazon Fire TV,